Hello and welcome back. Picking up where I left off in our glitter review, we're on part two. Um, hold on. So let's see. He wants to take her to Madison Square Garden. The people that God has assigned to you know where the Lord wants to take you. Meaning, you may not know it. You may not have the wisdom. You may not have the understanding. But he knows. And the people that are supposed to be in your life, they know what they're supposed to do. And they're going to be that entry point to get you where you got to go. And some of these people, some of them are Christian. Some of them may not be Christian, but they're sent specifically because the Lord is making them your footstool in order to get you where you're supposed to go. God does things for a reason, a season, or a lifetime. Sometimes God is using these people to open doors for a reason. But you have to have the discernment that, yeah, he may send this person. They may not fully be submitted, but God's using them. But some of you is like, oh, this is a whole demon. You got to have a level of discernment about certain situations that, is this God or is this a whole demon? And you have to have wisdom of that. So you got to pray about every opportunity, everything that's presenting itself before you. Because sometimes the real thing may not present itself until the counterfeit comes. This is a season that I've been talking about counterfeits and lurking like heavy because they're there. It's there. So he wants to give her an opportunity. And you can sense there's chemistry there. Specifically in relation to you and your God-ordained spouse. Some of you, the person that's sent to open the door is your God-ordained spouse. Nina's been screaming this at the rooftops the other past week or so, saying that God is sending your spouse to open some doors for you. Go back to your husbands at the gate. He's coming to open some doors for you. And the enemy may try to slip in right quick. Remember the word I talked about where Stephanie P was talking about they supposed to go and they supposed to approach, but they're scared to approach because they think that you're going to reject them. But what it is the fact that is a situation that the enemy wants to slip in while your husband or this person is still questioning, should I open the door? Should I? And she was saying in the dream that she had, she was like, go. And just before he got ready to go, somebody swooped in. Don't let somebody swoop in, please. Because for some of you, your God-ordained spouse, one, to everybody else is going to be like, why would he open the door? And two, he looks very regular. So they'd be like, what can he do? How he gonna help? But they see somebody that they know has access. They'd be like, oh, that person. And God's trying to say, because they trying to sweep in real quick before who's supposed to be, who God told you it was. So, with that being said, you know, because there's a chemistry that the Lord is going to automatically give between you and the person that's supposed to open your doors. Crystal Nicolau did a video where she talked about when God sends a deliverer, what the potential deliverer is going to look like. Whether it's going to be somebody that was sent by your God-ordained spouse, somebody that is your actual God-ordained spouse, or it's supposed to be just somebody that's supposed to open the door for you. So you gotta know, and this is why Nina's been beating people over the head with it, that you already know. God already gave you the wisdom. They at the gate. They coming. Don't open the door for anybody but them. Because there are lurking people. They lurking. They're like, I know there's a potential that this person gonna move. And when they move, I'ma move. I'ma sweep in real fast. And you sit there like, don't allow the enemy to bring confusion right here. Because he is. A lot of people are falling for the confusion. And they're like, I ain't standing for this no more. And then the enemy brings in somebody. Right in that moment of weakness. Right in that moment of confusion. Right in that moment of the little bit of a test that was right there. Because you got under a level of pressure that you was like, no, I'm not going to stand. How long have we been standing? You're going to get this close and you're going to be like, I give up. No. Absolutely not. The Lord will show you the chemistry between you and the person that He has assigned. It'll be Holy Spirit chemistry. Okay? And your spirit recognizes their spirit and it's like, okay, we cool here. That's what happened here. So let's see here. She leaves. He goes to take care of it. There are things that, just like, let's talk about the word, just like in the book of Ruth. Ruth had some things that needed to be taken care of. Ruth, what? It was already a edict or I forget what they call that thing, that it was a deal already made that she was supposed to go to Abimelech. So he had to go break that deal. That's what this guy had to do. He literally had to go in and break the contract between the other guy and the group. But see, the problem was he didn't do it in an authentic manner. He said, I'll do this. But he didn't authentically deal with the guy. But you gotta realize, it's say. It's Satan. You can't break a deal and say you're gonna break the deal unless you have the legal right spiritually to break the deal. And let me take this moment to give this caveat right here. Some of your God-ordained spouses got caught up in spiritual agreements that God has to break those deals and covenants for them. Another reason why they're taking so long. But God's going to break it, because what I have been seeing as well is judicial pardoning. Okay? Some of your God-ordained spouses, in relation to any spiritual legal matters and some of his physical legal matters, that needed to be pardoned for them to be able to come to you fully, free, and clear. You hear me? These things had to take place in order for this to transpire. And because of this, it's been a level of a fight. I've already told y'all, you have been spiritually their lawyer in the courts of heaven, getting their chains removed. So things had to be done legally, where they may have used street smarts. God saying, no, not with me. But see, this guy Dice, he used street smarts. But whenever you're dealing with say, you can't just be street smart. You have to actually move an issue. You have to actually shift that issue. You have to actually transfer that issue legally with all legal spiritual rights, as according to Acts 2. Is it 2? No, it's Acts 17, I believe it's 16 through 18, where you go forth before the spiritual judge and they pretty much are brought before God and beaten. There must be some form of, go back and watch my word on Jacob, Hercules, and Samson. It's exhaustive if you haven't watched it. But that's where God is at. Now, next. He does this wrong. The guy offers him a deal. Oh, you gotta pay me. And he's like, I know you kidding. And he's like, no, I got an issue and I need you to take care of it. So I'm gonna need that money. And he's like, uh-huh. And he walks away. He thought that it was over right there. You gotta realize when you dealing with Say, he ain't never gonna let you out a deal easy, especially with him. This is why you had to pray so intently for your God-ordained spouses, because some of them got caught up in some things they said. They came into agreement. They opened up some spiritual contracts that you had to break, bind, and destroy in order for them to get out free. Spiritually, in this case. And he didn't do it right. Anyway, he gets her and they create a single together. When they do this, record this single for this song, she starts performing it in the clubs. And he starts chopping her to multiple people that want to sign her. But she's like, she sees one offer. She's like, man, come on. We can do that. And he's like, I am only standing for you to get an offer from one of these 3 places. And she's like, but. And he's like, you got to understand, I know what I'm doing. Some of you, the reason that the Lord is sending your God-ordained spouse into this situation is because your God-ordained spouse got street smarts and he's got wisdom that you ain't got. And because he has the wisdom that you do not have, let me tell you, because of that, he is he's got the wisdom. I told y'all a while back, I had a dream that I was walking off of an elevator and my husband was behind me. But I saw through his eyes that he had a vision. And his vision was like a amplified architectural schematic. He could see things that I did not see. One, I was shorter than him, so he was able to see over my head problems that I could not see. The reason that God's sending these people into your lives is because they have the ability to see things that you don't, because you aren't in what you're being called into. But they've been sitting there. There's a scripture. Let me see if I can find it right quick. Okay, I found it. It's Luke 7:27. This is he whom it is written, behold, I send a messenger before you, thy face, which shall prepare the way before thee. Your God-ordained spouse went before you into a lot of the areas that you are supposed to go into. They've been there for a while. They got skills, they got understanding, they got technique, they understand the entire landscape of where you about to walk into. This is why God's saying, wait for them, because they ain't going to do you wrong. But the enemy wants to slip in so he can lead you astray. So the woman, Billy, she's like, yeah, I want to. And he's like, no, we are only going for this. Your God-ordained spouses, how many times have I said before that these people have wisdom that you ain't got? They have knowledge that you don't have. If they say stop, don't move. I said that in Breaking Dawn. If they say stop, don't move. Because the enemy wants to trip you up with pretty shiny things, opportunities, and access to people. You cannot be enamored by people in this season. They just people to you. Don't let the enemy get you twisted about here, okay? It's an absolutely not. No. Absolutely not. You got to walk with God in this season because he has a very specific way he wants you to move. And because God has a very specific way he wants you to move, your God-ordained spouse is going to know how to get you there. That's why you're going to have to follow his leading and be submitted to him, because he's going to be able to get you to where you're supposed to be. Follow who God told you to follow, okay? And they're going to do it honestly. They're going to lead you honestly. They're going to bless you because of the access that the Lord has given them and the wisdom that the Lord has given them over the years. So, he takes her to another club another night, and he passes the mix of the song to the DJ to play, while the A&R for the guy that he know is for one of the 3 places that he only wanted her to go. Your God-ordained spouses know what they want. They know exactly what they need in order to get certain things done, who they need to go to, and they're not going to stop or get distracted by pretty things because they've been there. They know who they need to talk to. They know because they got access, and they know exactly who's going to work best for you. You're going to have to trust them, because sometimes there might be people that your God-ordained spouse is going to take you before that you like, that person is not of God. Jesus, I don't know if I believe this situation. And God's going to say, who brought you there? My spouse. Didn't trust his knowledge. Because y'all might end up in a conversation with this person, and it may come to find out that this person knows God. Because God put them there specifically because you were coming through. But this is an old friend of your husband's. That to you didn't know this person was a Christian. Or had God in their heart to that degree. It may be just enough God in them that they'll be able to bless you. Reason, season, lifetime. They're there for a season. Just to get you through the door. Pay attention to what your God-ordained spouse says. This guy leads her to this A&R rep. They play the tape. The crowd reacts so well. Follow this. He literally did 2 things at the same time. He took the tape and played it while the club was jumping. So the second that when that song came on, everybody started dancing. The A&R rep said, oh, I can see the interaction that people are having with this song. Then when he brought her directly to him, the guy was like, oh, I like this. I want to see you tomorrow. Your God-ordained spouse has access for you in areas, places, spaces. They know people in places. They have had access. They go to places. They talk to people in industries. Some of them just have friends that are friends of friends of friends. And because they've had access, they got a chance to, they may not have even known while they were talking to this person. They may be a cook. They may have been a what? They may be in one industry, but the person that they talking to is in food. They may be in another industry, but the person they were talking to was in mental health. They may be an influencer, and because they are the type to use people that are up and coming, they had access to this influencer. They just happened to be at a party, and they ran into this person. Remember, your God ordained spouse is one of the ones that had the cave full of the 50 prophets here, 50 prophets there. These are people that he's come into contact with, that the Lord probably opened his ear and said, I need you to keep that contact. Get that contact. Get that contact. Get that contact. But God, why do I need that contact? I'm not doing nothing within that area. He's like, get the daggone contact. He got all those contacts because he's going to run into you. And when he runs into you and you talk about what you're into, he's going to be like, hey, I'm going to hook her up with this person. It's going to take about 5 minutes. They were in a meeting the next morning. A&R heard that song. Everybody was like, you're the singer? Oh my God. Everybody was standing there waiting for her to walk in the door. Smooth, quick, just like that. He opened the door for her. So they were ready to sign her. So with that, he wants to take her out to celebrate the fact that they got the deal. Some of your God ordained spouses are almost going to be nervous about coming into contact with you. You saw how this guy, he got a car for her, and he did this, and he went and got rose for her, and they went to this really fancy restaurant, but he never really asked her out on a date. And then he was like, he had champagne and escargot, trying to impress her. And she's like, are we on like a date? Are we dating? Is this a date? It's like, date? No, this isn't a date. Your God-ordained spouse isn't going to know what to do with you. Some of y'all God-ordained spouses really don't know what to do with you. That's why they haven't approached you yet. Because they're like, they know what to do with you business-wise because they're good at business. They can take care of that. That is no issue. They were sent before you. They had the contacts. They got all that. But when it comes down to actually interacting with you and actually being like that dude, y'all gonna be surprised that as much as they are that dude in what they do, when it comes down to interaction and being real and being themselves and just chilling and not trying to impress and do all of this razzmatazz that gets every other girl. I've been hearing DeBarge's song, Love Me in a Special Way, that talks about all that. It's like, none of that stuff is going to work. It's not going to work. Not with you. All that stuff that they did before is not going to work with you. So they're kind of at a loss of how to really treat you. It's like, I've been dealing with these chicks that I had to, and you're going to be like, if he pull out any of them stops of foolishness that he would have did for any of them other chicks, you're going to be looking at him like, dude, for real? And he know. They like, this is what's been, I was like, I don't know, she's a little, He pulls out some escargot on her. She's like, people go all the way to France for escargot. For this. It really. We are unimpressed by it's like, oh, you can take us to a hotel, restaurant, beautiful scenery. And we're like, this is nice. This is nice. It's all right. Not impressed by it. I've seen photos of this, and 9 times out of 10, I would be honest with you, when you've seen tons of photographs of places, and then you go to the place, and it's like, oh, this is all this is. And if you come out your mouth with that, oh, this is it. I've been waiting all this. I remember when I went to New York. The first time I had been there by myself and had ever, you know how many times we see the tree in Rockefeller Center, and it's like, oh my God, I gotta go see the tree in Rockefeller Center. I went and did a trek on foot. Went to the subway and everything. I had a journey that day. It was a mess that day when I finally got to the tree at 6 o'clock that afternoon at Rockefeller Center. I looked at that tree and I said, this is it? That's all? This tree didn't look as big as they make it look on television and light it up and all this kind of stuff. It was lit. But it looked short. It looked stubby. It looked like this is what this is what we've been seeing all these years. That's it. Some of you are going to get to where God's taking you, the things that you've seen that they made look glamorous. And your God-ordained spouse is going to take you there and you're going to be like, oh, this is not impressive. And it's that attitude of the non-impressiveness of it that your God-ordained spouse ain't going to know what to do with. You're going to be like, what? You're not impressed by this? It's a vacation location. It's a beach. What? What's this? I was supposed to be extremely impressed by this. You took me to a hotel. Oh, that hotel. It's nice looking, but the finest French food and cuisine. I'm vegan and I can't eat everything, so and they're gonna be looking at you like, all this stuff used to impress people. What is you? It's like, they're gonna want to buy you stuff, and you're gonna be looking at stuff like, how much money did you just spend on that? You could have fed a small world country for that. How about we go on this application and get this stuff for like way cheaper, and you take the rest of that money and sew it into something? That'll impress me. For real. And they gonna be like, what do I do with you? Oh my God. They literally gonna be scratching their heads. Next, after the dinner, he drives her back to his place. Now, this was the slickest foolishness. He's like, I gotta run and pick up something. Come on, come up with me. And she's like, 3 minutes. 3. He's like, 5 minutes. 3 minutes. She comes up there and she sees his apartment and it looks all nice. And he shows her the xylophone and she's watching him play it and she sees his true interest in it. You're going to see your God-ordained spouse, and you're going to see a part of them in an intimate space that you wouldn't have normally have been able to see about them. And that's what's going to pull you into your attraction to them. You've already been pulled into attraction of them, but you're going to see them in their intimacy. And in that intimacy, this is where you're going to have to be careful. Pause. Halt. Both Christ was talking about this the other day. You are going to have to be extremely careful, especially if God isn't driving you directly into marriage, meaning when you meet them, y'all going to go to dinner, he's going to propose to you, and then y'all going to go directly into eloping. If it's anything other than that, slows your daggone roll. because you gonna see them doing stuff as you're beginning to get to know them, and your desire and your heat gonna come up from out of nowhere. You ain't had it in a long time, but when these men come into your atmosphere and you see them in just, and I'm that type of girl. I'm kind of attracted to normalcy. I'm not attracted to all of the fugazi gorgeousness. I'm watching you do what you do naturally, and it's just okay. Now I'm turned on. It wasn't the music. It wasn't the this. It wasn't the that. It was just. It wasn't the influence. It wasn't all of this. It wasn't the community leadership. It wasn't all that. It was just them average little moments. Seeing the man do something really normal. The way he looks at the sun. The way that he sees the world. The way he explains the world to you. The way that if y'all in courtship, don't get caught up in that. Because some of y'all, it's that normal stuff. They're going to have you hot and bothered. That really normal stuff. That's what's going to turn you on. If you are not married to this man, back up. Remember your boundaries. And then when they start talking that authentic, from the heart stuff that you really want to hear, please back up. If you ain't married, you're going to have to back it up. Because when I tell you she was in his bed 5 minutes later, And the first thing she said, I don't normally do this. And for some of you, getting back to y'all that are going to elope, it is because of the fact that it's that easy for y'all that God's going to be like, I got to marry y'all off because y'all, if I let y'all stay around each other for too long, it's going to be on like fire. You got to get married. Because, and some of y'all been sitting there thinking, I haven't been with a man in a while, so will it be hard for me to I can't jump into a bed with somebody I don't know and all this kind of stuff. God's been actually slowly pulling that veil off the closer you get to your marriage, especially for those of y'all that are going to elope in days. You're going to be surprised how fast y'all are ready to jump in bed with this person when you elope. Because it's I don't know this person that well. I don't really jump in the bed with people like that. Because I know the last guy I was